We'll listen to Patrick Wincker. So Patrick is the director of the Genoscope and France Genomique, and he'll talk about the France Genomique project, a distributed infrastructure for genomic projects. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I will share my screen. Is it okay for you?
Yeah, it's okay.
Try to go. Okay. So thank you for this opportunity to present the France Genomic infrastructure to JOBIM. Very proud to be here and discussing again with the bioinformatics community in France. So France Genomic is basically an infrastructure composed of sequencing and bioinformatics platforms dedicated to genomics services and large-scale projects in France. What we are today is a national infrastructure. So it has been funded by the French government. It's today included in the what we call the roadmap for infrastructure in France. So we are one of the components of this roadmap. And we have tried to link the different French genomics platforms across the country in order to have a common basis for developing new protocols, for discussing about new methodological advancements, and for realizing projects together. We have a governance that is unified with a single direction. The directors today are Denis Milan from INRA and myself, and we are coordinating the activities of the different platforms. So why France Genomic has existed? We have been created in 2012, and it's almost 10 years now that we are active. The idea was really to see genomics as a strategic issue in French research, in French biology, and to have up-to-date methodologies and equipment to realize most of the genomics needs from the French biology community. So as genomics has a particularity to be something that evolves very quickly, we have changes in major equipments almost every 3 years approximately. We need to have some specific way of being up to date and of giving the French community most of the services that they need in terms of renewal and potential new equipment to perform this project. So what we are today, you have here this map of the country with the different dots representing platforms that are either part of France Genomic or affiliated to France Genomic. Most of them are sequencing platform with high throughput capacities, and these are only high throughput capacities that join France Genomic. But there are also bioinformatics platforms, sometimes associated with these sequencing platforms, sometimes they are independent but work with at least one of these platforms. We also have a centralized organization with a computing center. We use the computing center of the French Atomic Energy Agency, the TGCC, as a central hub for our bioinformatic networks. So what we are doing is with this network is not only to perform projects, but also consulting and provided professional training for people in the platforms and in the bioinformatic field. What we have done during the last few years is, first of all, to structure the offer, but also to produce very large projects which give us visibility. So you have a few examples here. I will not enter into detail. And we are also proposing symposia in 2 different fields, environmental genomics and human genomics. As these fields are rather different and addresses 2 different communities, we have separate symposia, and I will discuss at the end of my talk what we are doing for the next symposium. What are our major achievements in our view? It's first of all, the fact that we have trained a very large number of people during these years. Here you have a map showing that it stopped in 2018, but at this date we have more than 2,000 people formed per year. We are training experts both in sequencing technology and in the use of sequencing information. And we are also proud to be able to share and disseminate the technological developments across all the platforms in France. These graphs are representing some of our main achievements in terms of schools and attendance at the General Assemblies. We have a lot of activities in terms of animation. We have a dedicated website. You can look at the website to have an idea of what platforms are composing France Genomique, what are their main projects, what are their main technological developments, including bioinformatic developments. And we have some technology watching also for future developments. All this is presented in our website together with the results of some of the main projects. So what we have performed today across the last approximately 10 years is thousands, probably more, today more than 8,000 different projects, training many people. We have about 2,000 now co-authored publications, and most importantly, a large number, about 100 today, large-scale projects have been funded by France Genomique to give visibility to genomics in France. So I will just finish my talk by indicating to you when our next symposium will take place. It is a symposium on environmental and agronomical genomics. It is co-organized by the GDR, the Groupement de Recherche Génomique Environnementale of CNRS and INRA, and it will take place in Tours at the end of October, 27 to 29th. So the registration is open, and if you want to see what happens in the France Genomic platform, what happens for the large-scale genomic projects, and have news from other environmental genomics projects, I propose that you take a look at this site and join us in October. That's it. I want just to thank the main France Genomic partners, mostly CA, INRAE, CNRS, INSERM, and many others, and the program Investissement d'Avenir, which is funding until today the France Genomic initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So do we have questions? Let me check.
There is one live question.
Okay. Yeah. So Guillaume, please. No, I have to unmute you. Could you Could you? Okay.
Sorry, it's a mistake.
Okay. Go ahead. You should. Oh.
Guillaume, can you hear us? Can you talk?
Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, it's a mistake. Sorry.
Oh, so you didn't have a question. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So questions from the Q&A from Nawal. Do you have an interaction with the international or be in the future?
So there are different types of interactions, either directly with some sequencing centers or in the frame of projects, particularly European projects. There is no network of sequencing platforms at the European level today that include France Genomique. It includes some of the platforms from France Genomique. For instance, there is a network of platforms at the European level for sequencing services, and we are today creating a new platform which would be called the Biodiversity Sequencing Network, and this network will help sequencing biodiversity across Europe, and France Genomique would be one of the partners. So we are currently partnering with others, but there is no initiative like France Genomique at the European scale.
Thank you. So question from Nancy. Recently, it has been said in the media that France does not share its genomic sequences. Does France Genomique has a strategy to improve that?
I think this was linked to the SARS-CoV-2 sequences, not to the general sequences. For SARS-CoV-2, it's difficult to say because this is being sequenced very little in the France Genomic network. It's mostly in platforms which are virology platforms inside hospitals and in centers of references. So these are not part of the France Genomic network. So they don't follow or guidelines of public sharing of sequencing. On our side, all the projects that we are doing with academic partners, we insist on the fact that we respect public deposition of the sequences at the very least at the end of the project, and if possible during the project.
Okay. From Eric, France Genomic funding is ending soon. How do you envisage, the future of France Genomic?
Well, France Genomic funding is ended in 2025, so it's not an immediate problem. For now, the network is funded at least for its activities around the networking. Now, we believe that we should have a permanent funding, France Genomic, but also most of the other large-scale infrastructure in France, not only for sequencing or bioinformatics, but also for metabolomics, proteomics, and so on. So there is currently discussions around how to have more stable funding for this infrastructure to be able to buy new equipment and continue to give services to the French community. For now, there is no immediate problem, but we would like to resolve this problem in the next 2 to 3 years.
So I don't see more questions in the Q&R. No one raising his hand. So I do have a question. So is it possible that French Genomic somehow participate in the development of fair strategies, like trying to make something national with the particular workflows and pipelines?
Yes, that's what we are doing, but we don't do that alone. For instance, when the FAIR strategy has to be implemented beyond the sequencing itself, it's done in collaboration with IFB, and we have common discussions. There are members of IFB in the scientific advisory board of France Genomic and vice versa. So basically, yes, we are all engaged in the same direction.
Okay, great. So, okay, so there is no more questions from what I see here. So it's time, so 10:15. So thanks again for attending the sessions this morning.